Story 1. Update: my girlfriend is convinced that I tried to cheat on her. I, 27M, and my girlfriend, 24F, we'll call her Evie, have been dating for about a year now. Just this past week we went on a big vacation with our friend group including her best friend Tara, 26F. 3 nights ago Evie and I were in our hotel room just chilling together when I went down to the bar to get a bottle of wine and some ice for us, and I saw Tara at a table with some guys I'd never seen before and she looked pretty tipsy. I didn't think it looked all that safe for her being on her own like that. So I went over and made small talk and eventually asked if she needed help getting to her hotel room since it was pretty late. She agreed and we left together, but once we were in the little walkway heading back to the main hotel building she backed me against the wall and made a pass at me, asking me to spend the night with her. I put my hand on her shoulder to move her back and turned her down and told her she was drunk and I'd never do that to Evie, and I left her there to get back to her room herself since I was uncomfortable. Here's where I fucked up. I didn't tell Evie about it when I got back to our room because her and Tara are so close and I didn't want to ruin the vacation, but I did intend to tell her once we got back home. The only trouble is, the next day at breakfast while I was sleeping in, Tara told Evie that I was the one who'd made a pass at her while she was drunk and that I'd gotten jealous and possessive when I saw Tara talking to those guys, and needless to say, Evie believed her. She came back to the room just quietly crying and told me what Tara had told her and that she'd be staying in Tara's room for the remainder of the trip and that we'd talk about our relationship when we got back home. Basically she's going to dump me. Now I know what half of the comments are gonna say. To cut my losses with Evie if she's enough of an idiot to believe Tara over me. The trouble is I really messed up at the beginning of our relationship after our first fight. I got really drunk and started messaging girls trying to hook up with them, and Evie found out and was absolutely devastated, so I understand if she doesn't 100% trust me with stuff like this. Also, she's only known me a year and a half at most, and Tara her whole life, and she considers Tara her second chance at having a sibling. Evie's older brother died when he was 18 and she was 10. Also there's the fact that I'm madly in love with her and she's the girl I want to marry, and I just can't lose her over this. I don't understand why Tara lied, but right now my priority is getting Evie back. How do I fix this? What should my next steps be? Update. The vacation is coming to an end and a lot has happened in the past 2 days. After I made my post on here, I spoke to my best friend Matt, who's on the vacation with us, about what had gone on and what Tara had told Evie, and I was fully prepared for him to take their side since he's got a lot of baggage from being cheated on in the past. But instead he told me he believed me, and not only that, but he brought up real concerns about the way Tara has been treating Evie in the time that we've known them. I can't say I've ever noticed it because Tara and I have never hung out that much since our personalities clash, and Evie only ever has nice things to say about her, but Matt pointed out multiple occasions where Tara has put Evie down and been mean to her about her appearance and personality, and how it seems like Tara has this really manipulative hold over her. Looking back on it now I definitely see it and I feel guilty for never noticing sooner. He and I devised a plan to talk to Evie together without Tara there to hopefully get her to see sense. At first she didn't want to hear me out, but after Matt explained his concerns, she got all quiet and sat down and just kinda stared off for a moment. Evie told me that she didn't think Tara would do something like that and she never means to be hurtful, and Evie called herself too sensitive sometimes, but I could see her starting to doubt Tara and make sense of things. Eventually, I managed to convince her that we should confront Tara together and she agreed. As you can probably expect, Tara got incredibly defensive and pulled out the crocodile tears, and she started accusing Evie of choosing a man over her. I could see Evie losing her confidence, but she eventually told Tara that she didn't believe her, that she thought Tara had left her lying habits behind in their teen years. Tara then switched on a dime and got really nasty and vicious and started calling Evie names that I won't repeat here, and more or less admitted to lying because in her opinion, Evie doesn't deserve the nice things she gets, including me apparently. She was screaming so loud, people in the next hotel room came to check on us. I got Evie out of there and told Tara to stay away from her and not try to contact her. When Evie and I were alone and had made up, she told me that wasn't the first time Tara had been nasty to her like that, and that it happened a lot in their teens and early 20s when Evie didn't go along with what Tara wanted, but that it hadn't happened in a few years, so she thought Tara had changed and gotten better. TLDR, Evie and I are back together now and we're going to see how rebuilding things goes for a few weeks before trying couples therapy to help with trust issues and communication. Evie has decided that she no longer wants to be in contact with Tara, and I think she's starting to unpack and realize a lot of the damage that being Tara's friend for so many years has caused her. This has easily been the worst vacation of my life, but I'm glad to have my girlfriend back and hopefully we can turn a new leaf together once we get back home. Thanks to everyone who gave me the encouragement to talk to Evie. Story 2. My 30F, very new boyfriend, 28M, has a female best friend, 25F, that I believe is sabotaging our new relationship. I'd like to preface this by saying this situation is making me feel crazy, and I'm only a month into this relationship. So I added this man on Facebook because he was cute and we had like 2 mutual friends. I'm dating at 30, don't judge me, okay? Shit is hard. After around 6 months I jumped in his inbox and said hi. He left me on read and later explained he had assumed I was a bit, because I post semi-racy pics and such with next to no shame. After we talked like a week, he mentioned he's had problems in the past dating because he has a female best friend and women are possessive. I tell him I'm not at all threatened by women, I know what I provide, and so he set up a date, which he then forgot about and I showed up to alone. Great start, I know. I found out he got caught up at work and got distracted by a big order and it slipped his mind, as he doesn't date often. He was real apologetic, and I have him a ton of shit, but ultimately I agreed to see him again. We go on a date, we hit it off, like real well. We go back to his place and I meet his bestie. She was pretty nice. It was a very chill vibe. Over the next few weeks, we hung out a lot at his place, because he has dogs and central AC and we live in an extreme weather area for summer. It was convenient and a private place for us to all kind of vibe. I do the dishes, I sweep and mop the floors, I dust, I bathe his dogs, I was his sheets, and I really try not to stay the night every time he asks. But I'm mostly weak. At this point I will admit that we both hit the door running with this relationship. We're both dating to marry and haven't had proper companionship for a while. About 2 weeks in he starts to act weird about his best friend. He's like, I think she has a problem with you or you guys have an issue with each other. I'm taken aback like, what Pikachu face are you talking about? He's like I don't know, she's being passive-aggressive about us hanging out so much, texting him stuff like, you're just hanging out with your new girlfriend. I'm like okay. He says, she has an issue with you because you speak in a cutsy talk around me. Which to her credit, I don't do it manually, it's just a default and I could see how that would be annoying. I say stuff like, what doing? And, hi pumpkins, she also said that she feels like I'm just using him and I'm going to just move into his house, because I lost my job 4 months ago. I'm still trying to figure out what I used him for, my free maid service. So I'm like okay, I can try to adjust that. We move on. Him and I got into a stupid-ass argument one day because I'm way sensitive. Grew up in the Bible Belt and live in a woman's place, mentally around men I care about, and he's a blue-collar man who tells it like it is. And he and his bestie joke like two grown blue-collar men. It's weird. Around this time I asked him not to jokingly call me a bitch. He defends it, saying he calls all people that, even his mom. I stated I don't like it for me and it feels disrespectful even if he's joking. He literally made an attempt to be more conscious of it. We moved on. His bestie goes out of town for the week and he hits me up to chat. We straighten shit out. Spend a few days together, just us, and I made one request. Could I have just one day a week, even a work day that's mostly him doing other stuff where I get his undivided extra time, which on a work day is only about 3 extra hours. I clarified that it's not about his friend as much as it's about me getting to know him outside of his friend zone. He said that was perfectly fine. I guess he brings this up to his friend after she gets back and she said, then I want a friend, say just us, like okay. I guess I could see that. I spend time with my friends without their significant others all the time, sure dude. Whatever. Weird, but whatever. Well, the week goes on and the friend is being weird and passive-aggressive towards him and she won't even come over if I'm there. He spends the week venting to me about fuck her, and if she wants to act like this she can fuck off because we're trying to build something. How he's happy around me and he sometimes doesn't even want to drink and he's a daily drinker. I told him in this time I know he's upset but we are all adjusting to a new dynamic. And he needs to be fair to her because they've been friends for a long time. He's like, no, fuck her, you're my GF, she needs to deal. Then this week comes. He ends up going through some real work drama, and as someone who has been a boss, I understand why he's stressed. We're all hanging out and it's good, then he gets shitty with me while he's drunk ASF, I got an attitude and he told both of us to leave. So I did. Today we talk and he says that he took some time alone with his dogs and his best friend to figure his feelings out and we're spending too much time together. He says I'm too sensitive and I need to get thicker skin and he shouldn't have to change himself, like not calling me a bitch because that's my problem. He said that his best friend told him that she feels like I'm trying to take him away from her, because she used to be there every single day. We talked on the phone and hashed shit out and think we should just not stop talking but not see one another daily, and I definitely think that's fair, but I also feel like she's intentionally trying to remain innocent and fuck with our relationship. I also wonder if she's done this to him before. So am I crazy or does it seem like she wants this man? Do I run? 'Cause I wanna run like Usain Bolt, but I feel attached because I am stupid. TLDR, very new BF has female best friend who claims to have no problems with me, but he acts different after every time they're alone together. Am I overthinking this? Do I run like the wind, bullseye? Also, I did ask him if he would date her and he expressed no romantic or sexual interest in her whatsoever. I won't share details, but by looking at that man when he said what he said about it, I do believe him. It was mean, but I believe him.